few people realize that when they say, why didn't American Jews speak out more in the 1930s? My mom tells the story. In the 1930s, 1940s, she was growing up in Mississippi. She was a 4, 5, 6-year-old girl, but she sure remembers her neighbor with the Nazi swastika painted on his garage. Next door neighbor. Kind of like if you're a black person, your neighbor burning a cross. It's not a very pleasant sight. And you may be surprised to know that Gallup polls in the 1940s, Gallup, very respected polling organization, asked Americans, who is your greatest enemy? And there was a list. There were the Germans, the Japanese. It's the middle of World War II, right? Germans, Japanese. They had Italians. They had Jews. And in 1939, 1940, and 1941, the leading enemy of America, according to most Americans, was the Jews. Did you know that? Japan was second. Germany was third. In 42, Japan was the highest. It was right after Pearl Harbor. But 43, 44, in the midst of the Holocaust, more Americans feared Jews than they did Japanese or Germans. I realize that's not America anymore. I thank God that that's not America anymore. I think the Holocaust woke up many Americans to that. But it's interesting you say I believe in the Holocaust. I don't see too many people around the globe denying that the American Revolution happened, right? Denying that George Washington was the first president. And yet there's far, far, far more evidence of the Holocaust, which after all is 70 years ago, and we have, everything from pictures and video and documents and living witnesses. We have much less.
Nuremberg?
We have, not to mention everything at Nuremberg. We have much less evidence of the American Revolution. Now, obviously, I believe the American Revolution occurred, but my point is that in terms of historical evidence, the evidence for the Holocaust dwarfs by 1,000 times the evidence of the American Revolutionary War. And yet, no, you don't hear anybody talk about Revolutionary War denial because people would be like, huh? What? I do fear that 20 years from now, when there are no more survivors left alive, I fear it's already growing. It's growing in Russia. It's growing in Iran. And when you think, and this isn't just Jew hatred, which of course it is, it's more than that. It's when you deny genocide, you are not just denying the genocide of the Jews. You are basically making it easier for anyone to commit genocide around the globe, whether it be Rwanda or Cambodia or Syria or Darfur. And so I think Holocaust denial is an extremely, extremely dangerous thing.